My name's Justin,
And I'm LaBre.
and this is the Better Together podcast.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and welcome back to our actual house, the
Woo,
actual
woo.
studio where these things are supposed to be recorded and
Yes.
take place. When we talked last week, we were getting ready to move back into our house, and thankfully we are back in it as of a week now.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, I'm glad to be back here. There's still a little bit of work to do, and we've actually opened up a whole can of other projects.
A
Just
whole other
various
can
different
of
things.
worms.
Yes, we've definitely signed ourselves up for stuff, but all of that stuff's starting to wrap up.
Yes.
Hopefully life's going to get back to some semblance of normal very soon. The holidays are just a weird time.
Yes, they
And
are.
I always expect to have these vacations, these time off, and like I'm going to be able to study and read more than normal and write. And then I haven't hardly done anything anywhere close to even normal, I don't feel like.
Yeah. This year, your Christmas vacation's been a little different because of having work done on the house. So we've been, elbow deep in that, just doing everything. And even since getting back home, so we got the bathrooms redone, and that's all nice and dandy. But then we decided, why not add shelving? We're already in the mindset.
Yeah, we decided to do a whole lot of other projects, but those
But it just made us too busy.
yeah, you just been busy and you expect like to have that time to relax and things like that though, and it was like, no, that's just not gonna happen
Nope.
this year. You're just gonna be go the whole time. But so like the last 3 days, it looks like we might have some time, but it doesn't really count.
Nope.
But at least maybe Monday,
Maybe.
my last day of being off before going back to work, maybe that'll be the day where it's like you just get to have a chill day and not actually do anything.
Lord willing. We'll have to
Yes,
see.
that would be wonderful. It'd be nice to finally have that time.
Yeah.
But we are about to come into the new year,
Yes, we
which
are.
is an exciting time every year for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know how that the clocks change at midnight. The calendar, you have to hang the new calendar at midnight, and that makes it so much more exciting. But it does.
But what's going to be exciting for us this new year is hopefully, Lord willing, we are going to get video going for this podcast.
That should be fun.
Yeah.
We've still got to buy all the stuff.
Yeah,
Because
don't be a Debbie Downer on my happy parade.
Well, but I'm just saying we still have to buy cables and figure out how to actually use the expensive part that we already bought. At least we already bought the main thing.
Yes.
But now we just got to figure out how to use it
Mm-hmm.
and get used to that. And then we won't be able to do podcasts in random locations. We don't need to talk about the random location we're in right now in the house to do this podcast, but we'll have to actually like be purposeful and put together.
Yeah.
There's no lounge clothes for the podcast once you have video. Like you're stuck. Now you just have to look nice.
It's good practice for the future.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the future where we have like people. Like somebody else is gonna be hitting the buttons to switch things. Somebody else is gonna be editing and posting, and all I gotta do is just sit down and talk.
Dylan.
I am looking forward to a future in which we are established enough in the ministry that there are other people that are helping us, and we just get to be the ones that have the voice side of it.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, because it would make this whole process a lot easier. And like my process right now is so easy. Like I don't have to do hardly anything.
I actually just want to do what you do for the podcast.
It's pretty great.
I don't have to prepare.
Nope.
I don't have I want to go with
I just show up and chat.
Yeah. I actually do want to still prepare. I just don't have to do the other parts. I was going to make the joke about the Ryan Seacrest mentality. He just shows up places. They tell him what to say. He says it, and then he gets paid and he goes home.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really want to be told what to say.
Yeah.
But man, if I could just show up and like everything's set up and ready, and then all I got to do is just sit down and talk and wax philosophical and share the good news of Jesus Christ, and then go on about the next thing.
Yeah. That'd be the life.
That would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
One day.
Lord willing.
That's the goal. Well, yes. I think this is one of those cases where that just is assumed that the Lord is willing for people to put forth His word and to do His work online.
Yeah.
For a new generation or for all generations.
Mm-hmm.
Really. I mean, that's the point we're at now is where everybody's on the internet.
Yes. Everyone.
So, especially in this country.
Yep.
From the richest to the poorest, just about all of them have access to this right here. And we want to reach everybody we can and just have these great conversations.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great to be able to grow, though, like you were saying, with video in the coming year.
I'm excited. What are you excited about?
I don't know, maybe the fact that we're gonna be putting the first steps into actually starting a church in our city and teaching Bible study, like a group Bible study setting, and hopefully growing that
Yeah.
into a congregation. And who knows what'll be happening this time next year. This would be an interesting one to look back on
Mhm.
as we, we think about how that's all gonna play out now. And it's interesting to think because of how many ministers are gonna be involved in this work
Yeah.
compared to other recent works that we've seen.
Mhm.
Because, like, we've talked about it on here, but I've recently become a licensed minister,
Yep.
and then we're gonna be working with another family, and that husband is a licensed minister,
Mhm.
and then there's another family in our city who is interested in being involved, and the son and the dad are both licensed ministers.
Yep.
So you're talking about coming
A
in.
congregation of
Yeah, we're
ministers.
coming in ready to go as a work in a city with just 4 ministers pretty much right out the gate
Mhm.
that are wanting to reach the city. That's gonna be pretty impressive. I think that's gonna be able to do a lot of great things.
Well, let's just count up the people. So we got 3, then 7, and 11. That's 11 people already.
We've already got a
We
church.
have a church.
I do, and I don't wanna get into the nitty-gritty of this. This is something we need to talk about later, but,
Mhm.
like, because we all go to the same church currently, and then we'll be coming to try to start stuff here,
Mhm.
that's gonna be interesting to see how we were able
Yeah.
to work that out. But it's different than in some other instances because at least half of us already live here.
Yeah.
It's not like, "Oh,
More than
you
half.
took somebody out of the other city to come over
Yeah.
here." So that'll be an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah. A lot of logistics and planning and stuff to go through.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to have that first meeting and really
Yes,
put the boots
couple
on the
weeks.
ground.
I was a little sad when he said the 14th. I was like, "Really? We gotta wait till the
Gotta wait
14th?
that long? Can we just
Come
do it
on.
like whatever service we're back at?
Can we just, like, you'll be here the 31st? What's the difference?"
Yeah.
I don't know, but either way, it'll be good. It'll be exciting,
Mhm.
and, yeah, hopefully it'll be good for the city and the community. I'm struggling because I talked to you, like, the next episode,
Mhm.
I'm not sure, I haven't fully fledged out the next episode of the More God, Less Me podcast, but I
Mhm.
think that subject's really gonna revolve around, setting yourself up for this next year,
Mhm.
because this is the time of year where people make goals and
Yeah.
make plans and things like that, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that,
Mhm.
but I do think that we need to be wise.
Yes.
And that when we go into the new year, we don't need to think, what do I want to do? What do
Mhm.
I want to accomplish? We got to get rid of the I's and
Yeah.
we've got to figure out, what does God have in store for me this year? What is it that God has planned? How does He want to use me? What does He
Mhm.
want me to do? Where does He want me to go? And then try to, figure that out through prayer
Mhm.
and subsequently try to live that out to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, there's some personal goals that aren't a bad thing to have.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad to do that, but we can't focus on the personal stuff and not focus on the God stuff.
Yeah.
But we need to have a balance, and really, the balance needs to swing higher in the things of God.
Yes.
We
Mhm.
need to focus on God's things and
Mhm.
that stuff more than we focus on our own desires,
Yeah.
because they can become idols.
Yeah.
They can tear us away from the faith. We don't
Mhm.
want to walk down that path.
Anything that you put above God and you are putting that much energy and thought into more than him,
Yeah.
it's an idol.
Mhm. But that being said, looking forward, first and foremost, I
Mhm.
do feel like the church is what God has planned for us this year,
Mhm.
and so I want to do my best to accomplish that.
Mhm.
And I do want to, like I'll be talking on the podcast, I want to pray and fast and seek what God has other things,
Yeah.
because I think that sometimes we think like, well, I've got this one thing that God showed me that I'm to do, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case.
Mhm.
Like, we've got this podcast, and I could tell that, like, God was giving me things to share in a format like
Mhm.
this, but that's not all that He had
Yeah.
for me to do. There's still personal ministry,
Mhm.
in a church setting, like a pastoral type ministry
Yeah.
to try to step into, to work into.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean I should neglect this,
Yeah.
because this has the ability to play in. Those things go hand in hand together.
Mhm.
And so, really, this podcast is just an extension of the other kinds of ministry. So, though I believe that God wants us to focus and push and dig into the church, there's
Mhm.
so much that goes with that and so many other
Yes.
areas.
There's
So,
so many different working parts within starting a church and running a church that not only is like the main goal, yes, get that going, start a Bible study, but you've got to reach people in the city. You've got to go make those connections to start
mhm.
um inviting people to the Bible study, find a place for the Bible study. Do we have it here? Do we have it
Well, I
out
mean,
in the
that's the thing is we've
city?
kinda gotta find a place because of the interest that we just received from another family
Yeah.
here because their family can't come to our house
Yeah. Mhm.
because we have the dogs, we have the cat,
We have
we have the
allergens.
allergens. Our house is an allergen, and so we can't do that here.
Mhm.
And so
So,
we'll have to find somewhere else so that the members of one of the families that
mhm.
aren't able to drive all the way to where our current church
Yep.
is will be able to attend church here.
Uh-huh. So, got to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm going to start calling a couple churches in our area and
Well,
just see if
yeah.
they'll be nice enough.
Yeah, that'll be things that we'll talk about during our meeting, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to figure out where we're gonna be. And then, I mean, we still never looked at like the actual meeting space at any of the hotels up by the interstate. So that
Yeah.
could always be a possibility too.
Mhm.
But just figuring out all those little logistical things and seeing what God's plan is.
Mhm.
That's the big thing.
Yes.
Because we could go and we could call all these places. We could try to figure it out, but it's gonna go easier and better if we just seek God's leading
Mhm.
and see what He wants us to do
Yep.
instead of having to try to stumble up to it.
It'll be a lot less stressful too cuz you just pray and give it to him and say, "Open the doors." And any no's you get, it's like, "Okay, not for us.
Yeah,
Wasn't the right one."
yeah. Well, yes. Well, I'm
Mm.
not gonna be upset because I wasn't supposed to be there anyway. Um, that's funny. But I'm also strangely excited for the Daniel fast.
Yeah, weirdly enough, me too.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So, if you don't know what the Daniel fast is, this is something that we've done in the past
Mhm.
and really have talked about doing multiple times and then just haven't.
Yeah.
But it's, referenced out of, the book of Daniel,
Mhm.
where they get taken captive and they're given the king's food, but Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego don't wanna take a portion of the king's food because all that food would have been offered to idols.
Mhm.
And so they refuse and they say, "Just give us water, fruit, and vegetables, and that's all we wanna eat. And we'll even be healthier than the other people who are eating the king's meat by the end of 21 days," or whatever it
Yeah.
was, 3 weeks. And so there's a fast that a lot of people do. It's not like a rare thing
Mhm.
where you basically eat that same diet
Yeah.
for 21 days. And so we like the idea of starting the new year that way.
Mhm.
It's kind of not the best idea because this is the worst time of year to really try to eat produce
Mhm.
considering, there's not much
Yeah.
really like local. There's not a lot of local produce. Obviously, you go to the
I
grocery store in America and you're going to find produce any
yeah.
time of year, but it's just not locally fresh stuff. This is stuff getting shipped in from who knows where.
Yeah. And like ideally, this would be a great thing for us to do in the summer because of my love for gardening.
When we're actually growing our own
Yeah,
food?
when we're
Yeah.
growing our own food and I have tomatoes and zucchini and squash and peppers and all this wonderful stuff, all the green beans we could ever want.
Yeah. I
Just
think this year that's gonna go much easier for one reason.
because
I'm just
everything's pre set up.
well, yes, we don't have to build anything really. I think I'm just gonna seclude myself from that one. Because what happens is I get excited and we end up buying a whole bunch of random plants, like vegetable plants,
Mhm.
that then produce food,
Yeah.
but not really stuff that we really eat too much of.
Mhm.
And or like I'm like, well, every time I go to the store, I'm like, oh, look at this tomato plant. That's pretty cool. Oh, look at this tomato. And then you have like 70 tomato plants, and you're like, I can't. What? This was not. So I'm just gonna let you actually just thoughtfully plan out a garden and just do your own thing.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna not be involved. I'm very sad about my fruit bushes. I don't think those are coming back. Pretty sure all of those are dead.
I don't think all of them are dead.
I'm gonna live in that state
Okay.
until I see results this year. Well, all of them except for
Mhm.
the one blackberry, the original blackberry
Mhm.
bush that we planted is obviously fine, and it threw off its new cane and everything. It's
Mhm.
good, but I worry about the rest of them.
Yeah.
I hope that you're correct, but I doubt it.
Hey, the Lord can do all things.
Yeah, he can resurrect anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's gonna resurrect my goji berry bush. Praise God. Um,
The
well,
blueberries are probably done for.
yeah. If I can find one that does great, that's all I need, and then
Yeah.
I'll just plant the whole row with
Mhm.
those. Maybe it'll be those King cherries that just take over. Tons of them.
That would be something.
Yeah. But the Daniel fast.
Yes, Daniel fast.
So, I mean, really, in modern terms,
Mhm.
the easiest way to look at this is clean eating vegan,
Yes. Mhm.
and you have to use
No
those.
process.
Yes, that's exactly it. Because you have to use that special term, clean eating, and the fact of like nothing processed,
Mhm.
nothing fake, nothing artificial,
All
just
fresh.
all fresh. Some canned stuff. Like I bought some pineapple today
Yeah.
because it was pineapple in pineapple juice,
Mhm.
or
No additives.
and you got to be careful because like I was looking at all the different dried fruit,
Mhm.
and the amount of the dried fruits that you would think like, oh, this is healthy, and it doesn't have anything. It's just dried pineapple or dried bananas.
Mhm.
No, it's covered in sugar.
Yep.
Like they put sugar in it as a part of the preservation process, I guess, but that kind of secludes us out of it. It's
Yep.
like, well, no, we're not doing the sugars and things like that.
Mhm.
It's a very difficult diet, especially when you like coffee and unsweet tea. Like I'm already good on like the no sugar thing, but
Mhm.
man, I like the little bit of flavor. So I bought some limes.
Yeah.
I did the grocery shopping today
Yes.
in order to set this up because you were like, tell me some meals. And I'm thinking, not that there's not meal options
Mhm.
on the Daniel fast. Like I've got a book about it, and the back of the book, like half of the book is just telling you recipes you can do,
Mhm.
or you can go look up recipes online. But in the simplest truth is like you can't do sauces, really.
Mhm.
You can't do any of the like you could probably technically you could probably get away with sugar if you
Yeah.
wanted to be that person, but I feel like that's kind of cheating.
Mhm.
There's just all those things that you can't do that, like, you look up even vegan recipes, and they've got all this added stuff in there, and so it's like, I'm just gonna eat some vegetables. I'm like, "Just go buy vegetables and fruit," and so I bought more things than we'll probably need
Mhm.
for the first week, hopefully, but I bought, like, all kinds of frozen fruit and
Mhm.
different things like that, but I'm excited,
Yeah.
and it's weird to be excited about, limiting yourself.
Mhm. But I think we're excited about it because going through the holidays, you're eating such heavy, sweet stuff that it's like, oh man, it's gonna be really nice to have a nice, natural, clean diet. And like you're gonna feel so much better. And like we've experienced that multiple times
Yeah.
throughout stuff, getting off of all the preservatives and artificial stuff.
It's
Like,
just nice to reset.
yeah.
Just like, we're gonna reset. And again, just the thing is some of the stuff that I bought,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that seems like I'd like to eat some of that now.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I just want to go eat a bowl of strawberry.
Yeah. Well, I got a whole bag of frozen and two things of real strawberries in there, so you can
Mm.
just go wild. You can be a strawberry. I don't hope that doesn't mean anything that I don't know. I'm just like, I'm sure nowadays you don't know.
Yeah.
If it means something I'm not aware of it, don't tell me.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. We
um,
don't want to hear that.
nope. I really want some pineapple, to be perfect. I'm probably gonna end up eating some
Yep.
of it today, because I'm like, that seems delicious. I did buy this was, and I told you about this, but I just thought it was weird
Mm-hmm.
because I saw tropical fruit medley,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's frozen, bagged of frozen fruit or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and so I open it, or I didn't open it. I buy it, and I kind of looked at it, and I read like the first line, or like the first couple things that were in it, threw it in the buggy, got home, looked at it again, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. So it has passion fruit,
Mm-hmm.
dragon fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and pineapple.
Yum.
Okay. And avocado.
Weird.
That part threw me. I guess avocado technically a fruit. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But that flavor profile, I don't understand how it goes
Yeah.
with the others.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just or like texturally too. Like I
Yeah.
bought avocados. Like I'm
Yeah.
down for some avocados. I'm thinking about like how I can make just like the most basic weird salad thing, you know, but like no, I'm not in for the not in for the rest of that, you know?
Yeah. You don't want avocado in a smoothie? Not that
No.
we could have smoothie on the Daniel fast.
I was wondering about that. Like, is
Well,
like
because yogurt
I
is
know.
normally
Well,
in
no,
it
I
and
know
milk.
that. because yogurt's out because we don't do dairy
Mhm.
either. We didn't mention that. I mean, I said vegan, but for
Yeah.
people not aware,
Mhm.
that's like no milk, no cheese.
Yeah.
Well,
Can't eat our delicious
like
homegrown,
plain
home-laid
food.
chicken eggs.
Yeah. And then when we get off of this
Mhm.
though, well, let me go back. The smoothie thing, I
Mhm.
did think about Googling and seeing like no dairy smoothie, but
Mhm.
I'm sure that it's gonna be like almond milk,
Yeah.
and then that and
I
then it
did read one thing
straight almond
where
milk.
where unsweetened almond milk was fine.
Yeah, but it's fine on the Daniel fast,
Yeah.
but it's not fine to drink. Like it's not
Maybe
gonna
it will
make
be
a
with all the fruit.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get to that point.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm not sure, but I did think about Googling that just to see what would come up, but I'm assuming it would be something else that I don't want to get
Mhm.
into. But when we get off of
Mhm.
this, I think that this is like one of those things that you gotta just not go back to being
Yeah.
like, cause like I eat really well.
Mhm.
You have a tendency to cheat a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
The good thing about the Daniel fast is you're not cheating against the diet with me. You're
Mhm.
cheating against God. So you can't cheat.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't
I
be like, "Oh, I'm gonna have I'm just gonna buy this Coke and not say anything, and then
Mhm.
leave the bottle in my car so Justin finds it and I get in trouble."
Yeah. The with the Daniel fast, last time we did it, I didn't really have any issues
But
with wanting to
we
cheat,
didn't
really.
cheat, but we did things that I'm not gonna do this time.
We leaned hard into
We had chips and salsa every day, and we made the chips from scratch,
yeah,
and we
with
used
clean corn
it was all
tortillas.
clean
It was
ingredients,
all approved.
but it was
I
like a
made the
crutch,
salsa, but it was a crutch.
and so I'm hoping to not do that this time. I don't wanna have to lean on the crutches and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wanna come into it right. But I do pretty well being healthy. However, I did the Whole30 in July,
Mhm.
and the Whole30 is basically the same thing as this,
Mhm.
really. Now that I think about it, like, it's exactly the same thing because you don't eat any dairy,
Mhm.
you don't eat any meat.
Mhm.
Yeah. Huh, I
Huh.
never thought about it. But yeah, I mean, because you have no grain, no dairy, and no
Yeah.
meat. That's basically the exact
Mhm.
same thing as the Daniel
Pretty
fast.
much, yeah.
But when I came off of it,
Mhm.
I was my birthday,
Mhm.
and so I went down a bad road diet-wise, and then I just never really came back.
Yeah.
And before that, I hadn't ate processed foods really
Mhm.
in a year.
Yeah.
So, and I was doing really well then, and so I'm like, I can't do that. I can't. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to go back on like the crazy train.
Mhm.
I'd rather have just I'm gonna be a good diet person. I'm gonna say no to this and say no to that, and just
Mhm.
enjoy my pineapple.
Pineapple is really so good.
Yeah,
Like, it's oddly delicious. You
yeah.
forget about how yummy it is.
Oh, I had pineapple the other day at my mom's house. It's part of the reason that that's like being viewed that way. But man, it was good.
Mm. Yep.
Um, but that's something like in the next year
Mhm.
that I want to focus on is like establishing a healthy diet
Mhm.
and just sticking to that diet for good.
Yeah.
None of that like, oh, well, I'm on like, and I did really good because you gotta think we went on vacation before I did the Whole30,
Mhm.
and I did really good. I didn't have soda
Yeah.
and you were trying to talk me into it.
Well,
It was like
I kept
it was like
forgetting.
living with the devil. She's like,
Pretty sure you
you
just
came
called me
home.
the devil.
Well, I just call it. I'm just kidding. She came home and she's like, I got. I'm like, no, I don't want the soda. Stop it.
Like, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm trying to be sweet and get you a
I'm
treat.
trying to be nice and get you this thing that you don't really want to drink.
You drank it for so long
Yeah.
up until this point.
Like, we're on vacation. No, get behind me, Satan. I'm not doing it.
Again. Again.
That's a joke.
Goodness gracious.
But I want to be better about it
Mhm.
in general.
Yeah.
Of just like sticking to my guns on that sort of thing. And it's not hard.
No, it's really not. It's just breaking the habit initially is the problem. And once you get through that, you just stick to
When
it.
I'm set on it, though, it's very easy for
Mhm.
me. Like, I can be like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
Like, I can turn it off.
Me, not so much, but that's because I'm with our child all the time, and we don't limit him like we do us. Like, he doesn't eat a bunch of bad stuff, but I mean, if we're doing the Daniel fast, like, we're still gonna give him meat.
So we're at the store, and I'm like, "I need to get you some chicken nuggets." And he's like, "But you can't have chicken nuggets on the Daniel fast." I was like, "Buddy, I don't I don't think you're gonna actually be doing the Daniel fast, so I think it's okay for you to still have chicken nuggets." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Well, buddy, you're little, and it's okay for you to have meat and some things like that, and you don't really understand what we're trying
Yeah.
to do through this, and I appreciate it that you want to be bought in. That's awesome,
Mhm.
but we'll get you the chicken nuggets still. It's okay. You can have the chicken nugget."
Props to the 4-year-old for
He
trying.
tried. It was funny too, and I said this to you earlier, but I just want to share it on here too. That you're going through the grocery store, and like as of recording this, it is Friday the 29th,
Mhm.
and you go through the grocery store, and I didn't go through any of the interior aisles. That's the
Mhm.
key to the grocery store. If you want to be healthy, you never go in. You only walk the perimeter of the
Mhm.
grocery store. Even if you go to Aldi, everything you need is on the outer circle.
Mhm.
That's where your vegetables, that's where your plain meats are. That's all that you
All your
need.
fruit.
All your fruit, like that's where
Mhm.
everything is. And so I go around all that. We've got a buggy just full of healthy food,
Mhm.
all like full of vegetables. I did buy a couple meat just to get us through the weekend. There's no reason to not eat meat before you can't
Yeah.
eat meat
Mhm.
anymore. So I had like a couple things of meat in there,
Mhm.
and the only questionable item in the whole, well, I bought hamburger buns,
Mhm.
and then I bought his chicken nuggets. Those were the only two questionable things. But up until that point of having all that stuff in my buggy, you walk past people and they're like looking down in your buggy, like, huh. And then, like kind of looking at you.
Like, "Ooh, they're starting their diet
And they're like,
early."
yeah, it's not even January yet. You don't need to be doing this. It's not time for that yet. But that's my favorite way to shop. Like,
Mhm.
if I go to the store, that's how I always
Yeah.
am.
If anyone else shops at Aldi, I do like the interior aisles just for all the fun stuff that they put, like all the
The Aldi
random,
finds.
yeah,
Well,
all
that's
the
its own
Aldi
little
finds.
aisle. I did go through that aisle, and
Yeah.
it was fine.
I like I like the look there. But
Mhm. Yeah.
mhm. I I mean, I've really enjoyed going to the grocery store and only having to hit those main little bit and then get out of the store real fast.
Yeah.
It's
Until
nice.
your son's like, "I gotta go pee." Like, I didn't even know grocery stores had bathrooms, so this was a
This is
learning experience
news
for
to
me,
me.
and I'm trying to figure out, like, well, I don't wanna push my buggy, like, through the registers, 'cause that's the way Aldi's set up, but I'm like, I don't really know where to park. I parked in front of the alcohol. I was like, "People don't need this." I parked in front of the
Yeah,
wine
let's just
section,
block that.
blocked that little section off, you know, uh, and then took him to the bathroom. But I was in the store, I'm like, "I could do this again. This isn't so bad." She makes it sound like it's so awful going to the grocery store,
No, it's
and I
awful trying to figure out what to cook so that way you
see, I
know
don't
what to
worry about
buy,
that.
so that way you don't have to go to the grocery store a bunch of times.
Yeah, I don't really worry about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Like if I was cooking at home, like obviously there's certain things. Like if you're gonna have tacos, then you need stuff and things like that. But for me, I'm like, I can pretty much buy enough ingredients and still have a decent budget at the store to where I'll just be able to make food and be
Mhm.
happy with it. But you're like, what should I pair this with? And I'm like, I'll figure that out when I'm cooking. Do I want peas or corn today? Like I don't care. Like
Uh,
it's like if I was going to the store regularly and I was gonna buy like say meat, like just
mhm.
have a normal week. Like, okay, I bought some chicken thighs. All right, well, when I get home, I'll have corn and peas and potatoes and this. Some of that'll go with these chicken thighs. I don't think about like what exactly do I want to eat on Tuesday, sides and all. I'm like, well, I want this entree, and I want to have enough stuff to pull from that I can have whatever side I want to
Yeah, I just
after
like to
that.
have it all planned out in advance.
It
That's
just it doesn't work for me. Like the meat, I know that I can want on a certain day,
mhm.
but the sides, I'm fine with that being flexible.
what I'm learning is you should just do all the cooking and shopping.
If you did all the working, I would love to do it. It sounds like a very fair thing to me personally, but I don't think we have that opportunity. So, I talked about what I'm excited about
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Is there anything that, like, personally,
Mhm.
outside of this spiritually, because
Mhm.
and I'm giving you that caveat
Yep.
because I'm
But
about to tear down some walls on Monday with the more not you.
oh,
I'm saying
I
like
was like, "What?"
I say I'm gonna go hard on this idea of like what you should really be focusing on in
Yeah.
the new year. And I think that we're there.
Mhm.
I know that you're gonna be spiritually focusing on the right things.
Mhm.
I do think that, like, as we look at life, a lot of times when you look at the new year, you look at what you could be better about.
Mhm.
And the truth is that it doesn't matter if you're a brand new Christian or if you're somebody who's been in the faith for a long time, or even if you're somebody who's a part of the ministry,
Mhm.
you could get better at things. You could spend more time in
Yeah.
prayer or just better prayer.
Better
I mean,
quality.
really,
Yeah.
something I think about is it would be very beneficial if I would start keeping some kind of prayer journal.
Mhm.
Not because it's like, not knowing what to pray for, things like that, but it's like there's so many needs. We know
Yes.
so many people
Mhm.
with so many diverse needs. How do I help these people?
Mhm.
How do I actually remember to pray for everything I need to pray for
Yeah.
in a time of prayer?
Mhm.
You just have it all written down in a notebook and you pray through it. And as you go through, if things get answered or situations change, then you mark that in your notebook and you go on.
Yeah.
But I do think that that would be beneficial. But my
Mhm.
point is, we could all grow in the faith and do better things in the faith.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something we need to hash out personally,
Yes. Mhm.
and not having that conversation on the podcast maybe
Yeah.
right now. But what kind of personal stuff are you wanting to do this year?
I do want to figure out some sort of workout thing.
I got an awesome punching bag
I
ready
know.
ready for you.
Well, it's not ready. It's laying in the closet.
Well, okay. I don't think this is like a weird thing to say. I think that most basements have that fear.
Mhm.
But like we have our basement and we don't even have a staircase up to the house.
Technically, it's a walk-in storage space.
Yeah, it's basically like a finished crawl space is what
Yeah.
it was a crawl space. At some point it got finished. That doesn't
Mhm.
matter. It's our basement.
Yep.
And I've never seen a mouse
No.
in the basement or outside.
No. No.
But that kind of and it's just so cluttered at the moment
Yeah.
that that kinda thing does concern me slightly,
Mhm.
and so before I take a bag full of weird fluff down there,
Yep.
because that's really what a punching bag is, I didn't realize that, but it's basically like
A
ground up.
weighted fluff bag.
Well, it's almost like that stuff that they put underneath carpet.
Mhm.
That's what it looks like,
Like the
and
padding.
then they just, like, ground that padding up
Mhm.
and put it in a bag. But I would hate to put that down there and then like mice somehow get in that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna wait until I can put some traps and things down there just to make sure there are none,
Yeah.
and then we'll move the punching bag down.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
But yeah, so some sort of workout thing because just like it's good to work out spiritually, it is good to work out physically, even though it only is beneficial for a short while.
Well, yes, because your focus, and I don't think like I think that's how we can misconstrue things that like Paul said.
Yeah.
Because Paul said it does profiteth a little bit,
Yeah.
but this thing's more important.
Mhm.
So obviously the spiritual should be more of a focus than the
Yes.
physical.
Mhm.
But if you want to have the best ministry and be able to
Mhm.
do the best work, then that's going to require you not to just be spiritually strong,
Mhm.
but you're going to need to be physically capable.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you
Uh
got to think about Vesta Mangan.
yeah.
I think she's old as Moses at this point. Like, I don't know, but she gets up there and speaks and
mhm.
she's but like, that doesn't come by not being active in some degree. Like,
Yeah.
I've never heard her talk about it. I don't know what she does, but to be at that advanced age, she's got
Mhm.
to be in her 80s or 90s at this point.
Mhm.
And to be at that advanced age and still be able to get around well, to be at like every church service
Mhm.
and things like that, that woman has to have had some kind of, you know, physical
Yes.
actions. And so if we want to be the most effective we can for the ministry, especially in terms of having the bandwidth
Yes.
to do more things throughout the day, you're going to need to have a little bit of that physical exercise time to build up yourself.
Mhm. Well, and like the Bible talks about our body is the temple of God now.
Yeah.
So we need to take care of it and cherish it. And in part of that, it is
Mhm.
working out, having some sort of physical exercise, whether it's running, lifting weights, whatever, punching bags, all this stuff. You need to take care of your body.
Yeah.
So that's on there. Eating better, trying to get away from those crutches that fall into like having a soda now and then, having some chocolate, well, having more chocolate than is necessary. You know, that's
Any? I don't.
well, it's not bad to have a little, but it's the whole too much of one thing is a bad thing.
Yeah, moderation is what you're
Yes.
trying to get at.
Yes.
I'm just joking. I'm thinking like, God created man and all that stuff, and he's like, but they need just a little chocolate. That's how you made it sound, though. It's like you need a touch of chocolate in order to best live as a human.
Listen, chocolate makes me happy. It does. Um, so just learning to not indulge in those as much.
Have you ever heard the joke where it was like, money can't buy you happiness, but money can buy you a jet ski? And have you ever seen anybody on a jet ski that's not happy?
That girl in the movie Hitch.
Yes, that is funny.
Bam,
You win.
I
Wow,
win.
thanks for ruining
Got
my
that.
thing.
But I've heard that same kind of joke in various situations. Like money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you tacos. And have you ever been at a Mexican restaurant and been sad?
That's true. But I think that the original is the jet ski one because it's like a
It
Tosh
totally could
joke.
be. It totally could be. But
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard it as the jet ski. I just heard
No,
mostly tacos.
it's all tacos. If you know anything about me, tacos. I mean, I won't be upset about tacos. I
If
realize
you want to make him happy, bring him Mexican food.
I realized I can basically eat tacos on the Daniel fast because I bought those romaine lettuce or
Yeah.
whatever, and this is like the big leaf,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got really good at black beans,
Mm-hmm.
and we can make our own salsa.
Yep.
So I can almost have a normal taco. Can have a
But we're
close
not having
second.
crutches.
Well, I'm not gonna eat it every single day, but like I'm having lettuce and beans. Come on now, that's not a crutch.
But yeah, that's just the main stuff. Like personal wise.
Your your main stuff, personalized, was just one thing.
Working out and eating better.
Oh, you didn't say that. I don't feel like.
No, I
I
did.
feel like you tacked on to mine.
No, I said want to eat better, not have those crutches. Like the soda every now and then the chocolate.
Oh, oh yeah. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Goodness.
I'm
Pay
sorry.
attention.
I thought I was. I got lost in there. I guess. How do you plan on the eating thing?
Yeah.
That's easy,
Mm-hmm.
ish.
Ish.
The hardest part about eating
Is
is
when
willpower.
people send candy home with our kid.
Yeah, that's gonna have to stop.
Yes. For a
And
variety of reasons.
we just have so much of it. Just like I had to throw a bunch away.
Yeah.
Recently because I found like old bags of it in the pantry that I'm like, I don't know when they were hard candies, which maybe they're good forever. I don't know, but I'm like, I just getting rid of all
Yeah.
this stuff. It's never gonna get eaten. But so the eating thing, it comes down really to willpower.
Mm-hmm.
The desire to eat better
Yep.
is what you have to have in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think you're gonna try to do for the exercise thing?
So I've been seeing a lot of things on like reels and stuff about Pilates. And I thought that might be a good way because that's using your body weight
Mm-hmm.
to do certain exercises and whatnot, strength training and whatever you want to call it. But that way, no necessary equipment.
Yeah. Well.
Don't have to go outside because it's East Tennessee. We have all 4 seasons in one day sometimes. So I don't have to depend on trying to get outside. I can do it all indoors. I can do it outdoors. That's totally fine too if the weather's nice and whatnot. But nothing's required. It's just all me.
Yeah. I don't know much about that one.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Look up some things online.
If we were wealthy people, I'm still all about that Peloton. I think that would be
Yeah.
the best. But
That's $40 a month just for the
Yeah, the bike is ridiculously
Mhm.
expensive, but then $40 a month
Mhm.
for the
Training part.
training part of it, it's like, "No,
Yeah.
we're not doing that." I can find free stuff online to watch while like,
Mhm.
no, I'm not gonna do that. I think the bike would be fun. I had it set up for a little while.
Mhm.
The issue was time
Mhm.
to actually
Space.
get out, and then, yeah, you have to have it out
Yeah.
somewhere, which was annoying.
Mhm.
But we are planning on getting rid of the dog crate,
Potentially. Yeah.
and if I can get the dog out of her crate,
Mhm.
I can put the bike over there,
Yeah.
and that's still a fine backdrop for video. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it'd probably look pretty cool.
Like hang the bike on the wall when it's not in use and just put it
No,
back
because that bike
down.
trainer sucks. It's such a pain to take on and off.
I know you've got it on my bike down there right now.
Yeah, because you were saying you were gonna try to use it.
No, you were like, "Hey, do you want me to do that?" I'm like, "No, it's fine because it's down in the basement. I don't want to." And you're like, "I'm gonna put it on it."
I wanted you to at least try it, and you said you would, and now here we are.
Yep.
Did you try it?
No, it's in the
I
basement
know.
covered with stuff.
Hey, if we can ever, you know, that's so funny too.
Mhm.
So if we can ever get to spring,
Yes.
and that's the other part of the new year is so first things first, I think we're gonna set up our current office
Mhm.
upstairs to be more of like a studio space
Yes.
for the podcast that I do by myself.
Mhm.
And then after that's established and
Mhm.
like we're able to at least use that room that way,
Mhm.
we'll be using our living room for this podcast.
Yes. Mhm.
But then as time goes on, we want to have the whole basement basically be
A
that
studio set.
space.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so, but we have to clear it first.
Yeah.
And really, you don't want to do that when it's 30 degrees outside and when it's going to constantly rain and stuff. So we have to
Mhm.
get to the spring where we can put a bunch of stuff out for bulk trash and
For a yard sale.
for a yard sale. But the bulk trash thing is so funny because they've come 3 times in
Mhm.
the last few weeks
Yep.
because of the construction work being done on the house. And the last time was literally yesterday. They
Mhm.
came and picked up stuff. And we already have more stuff that we could have set now because we replaced an accordion door.
Mhm.
We replaced that vent.
Yep.
We replaced
Replace
all this
the
stuff.
floor vent.
And now we have more stuff that we could set out for bulk trash. And it's like, I feel so bad about it though. Just,
But
like,
thankfully we have it.
but we've used it more than anybody else ever that I know of. So it's just funny to me. I'm
Mhm.
not saying it's a bad thing, but
Yeah.
it's just funny. Like, man, what's crazy though is we live, and it's because we're like medium.
Mhm.
I can't say that we're a small city. We have like 10,000 people
Yeah.
or whatever. But like we're not a major city. And so like we have some pretty good perks
Mhm.
because we have trash pickup, we have bulk trash, and that's all baked into our pretty low taxes.
Mhm.
But with that, we also we can put anything out there
Yeah.
because we're
Anything.
just redneck enough still in this
Yep.
city to where they don't care. And so, like most places have bulk trash pickup. Like a lot of cities have that option,
Mhm.
but they have a limit on how many times it can happen.
Yep.
Like I think it's like 3 times
A
a
year.
year or something.
Mhm.
They'll come every time you call them.
Yep.
And the last 2 times we haven't even had to call them. We just
Mhm.
set the stuff out there.
They're like, "Yeah, these people are doing work. We're just gonna keep
We're gonna
driving
keep
by
driving
anyway."
by and watching. And the other thing is that most bulk trash also won't let you put building materials out.
Mhm.
They won't let you put drywall and,
Yeah.
old toilets and stuff like that. They don't know. Ours is like, well, we don't care.
Yep.
Trash is trash, man. We're here to pick up trash. That's really, and that's how it should be.
Yeah. There really shouldn't be all these caveats. Like we've put a couch out there to
Yeah.
go away. We've put building materials, old toilets and
Well, I mean, one of the things that was out there this last time was a dog bed.
yeah.
I was like, I want it gone. Which, now that I think about it, somebody took that.
Oh.
Now that I think, because I remember that pile did get smaller, but I wasn't paying attention to what wasn't there. But I think that shelf
Mhm.
and the dog bed both got.
Oh, well, that's good for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog bed, well, the only reason we got rid of it is because one, our dog, it was a pain to use it
Mhm.
in our house and the layout and stuff like that. And then she's fine with just a big blanket on the floor.
Mhm. So we
And
bought
it
her
was
her own
starting to look
quilt.
really rough.
Yeah.
I mean, we had it for a while now.
Mhm. It'd been a couple years, but she's happy with her own little quilt.
It's much easier to clean and wash a
Yeah.
quilt than it is a dog bed.
Yeah.
So,
Lot less to take apart.
and then whenever you have people over and stuff, you
You
just
can
fold it up and slide it under the bed, and the dog bed's gone.
Mhm. Real easy.
Yeah, so it worked out great.
Mhm.
I also have a pro tip for anybody with a cat because my cat has finally drove me off the deep end. So I've got a friend at work,
Mhm.
and he's got cats.
Mhm.
He's got multiple cats,
Yep.
but he had one of his cats got into like knocking stuff off the counter, and not just like it, just anything,
Yeah.
anything that would be sitting on a counter regularly. That cat would knock it off, and he said it would look at you and just like pop things on the floor. And
So
so
rude cat.
like
That ooh.
decor, certain items of decor that the cat kept knocking off, they ended up velcroing down to the stuff. So our cat doesn't do it with just everything that we own, thankfully,
Yeah.
because I couldn't handle that. But
Ugh.
he has gotten into knocking his food bowl off full,
Mhm.
and he'll knock it in the floor.
And it's in protest because he wants a treat.
Yeah.
He wants wet food or
But
like
I gave him
treats.
wet food the other day, but he didn't like that flavor, I guess, because he knocked that in the floor. Sometimes I think he gets real into eating it and starts pushing the wet food
Yeah.
around. But so I velcroed it down. Said, you know what? We're not playing this game.
Yep.
And I put one piece in the middle of the bowl.
Mhm.
And if that isn't enough, I'll put a couple pieces on the edges. We're not playing this game.
You are not knocking your bowl down anymore.
Yeah, and it's just the command strips too. I use the ones that you hang the pictures with.
Good. I was hoping you'd use one of those for that because
Yeah.
then you don't have to get anything special and they'll come off real easy without any damage.
Mm-hmm. Well, that thing's already messed up. But
Yes, but any more damage?
there you go.
No.
You know, I didn't think about it. We really need to paint the office.
Great. Now you're adding to my project list. What do you want to paint
I don't know.
it?
But I'm just saying, like, I think it would look better
Mhm.
even white
Yeah.
than it does right now.
Hmm.
Because it's like beige.
Is that one beige
Yeah.
or is it gray?
I'm pretty sure it's like a brown, beigey color. Like what the whole rest of the house used to be.
It's been so long now.
Yeah.
And I don't hang out in there much because the cat litter box and stuff.
It's not been that bad this week,
That's good.
thankfully.
Yeah. I've really been enjoying all of our new spaces, all of our redone spaces.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
have a really bad problem with I like to change things. I like for it to feel different,
mhm,
even if it's the same house. Like
constantly.
I really like our house,
Mhm,
which is weird because it's small and
mhm.
not what we would have picked,
Yeah.
But uh, I enjoy it, and I'm glad to be back here. But at
Mhm,
the same time, like we rearranged the living room,
mhm.
we're just like swapping some furniture placements and stuff. It's like, oh, this is nice. And then you just walk in there and it's different. Or like the kitchen right now with the new shelves, you go in
Mhm,
there and it's like, oh, this is so nice because it's just new.
mhm.
But every space is new, really.
Yeah.
Besides, like, well, even our bedroom has new features in it. So,
Yeah.
like, everything
Everything.
except for our son's room and the office has
Yep.
been changed recently.
Mhm.
And so it just feels really nice to go into those spaces.
Yeah.
And
And I'm sure our son's space in the near future will end up having its newness.
yeah,
So,
everything. But it's just like I have that
mhm.
bad tendency of like wanting to change stuff.
Well, I do the same thing. I think yours is a little more drastic at times because I'll just slightly redecorate stuff all the time.
Yeah. You also like to slightly put everything in a different spot every time you go to like it's not like if Bree puts something up, she's putting it in a new location.
No, I mean,
Everything except for like
kitchen stuff.
anything that's on an open shelf normally gets put back where it was.
Yeah.
Anything that's in a drawer is probably going back in a different drawer.
No,
I don't know. Anything
I
I'm
think you
looking
just get
for.
confused on where stuff is.
Oh, okay. I'll remember that. I'm going to start writing it down. Today I found this in this drawer.
Well, the junk drawers, that, yes, those will get all sort of discombobulated.
Well, yes, okay. But like let's not take that. Like small stuff that like you use on occasion has a tendency to get put in places.
Like,
It's complicated. I don't have the bandwidth for this right now. We're almost at the end of the podcast and I'm tired.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
That was in previous episodes. It took everything I had to do this podcast instead of taking a nap earlier, so
Mm.
here we are.
Cool.
But no, I'm super excited for the new year,
Mhm.
and the best part about it is being able to do this stuff
Mhm.
and take people along with us. Um, it's gonna be an exciting time of just figuring out what God has for us, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be documented in some form or
Yes.
fashion along the whole way,
Mhm.
which is super exciting.
Lord willing, with this new year, we are going to pick up some sort of vlog style of documentation
Yeah,
again. So we'll see. We might hold that to ourselves for a little while and then bring it out for y'all. But we want to document this journey
yeah,
with this new year and just be able to look back on what all God's done and praise Him for it all over again.
yeah. In that vein,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way to do that is shoot for just like a weekly episode
Mm-hmm.
and not like a daily or
Yeah.
like all the footage comes from one day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when something interesting's happening, we'll just take a video clip, talk about it.
Yeah.
Like after the conversation I had at church the other
Mm-hmm.
night, like you could have interview styled, like
Yeah.
not that we've watched a lot of this, and we definitely like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, this isn't to sound holier than thou or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but definitely in our marriage,
Mm-hmm.
neither of us have watched much reality television.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say that I wasn't a kid during the MTV times and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
just like VH1 and everything was a reality
Yeah.
show, or even this stuff on E Network that wasn't technically bad, but apparently there was bad stuff in all the behind the scenes. But like that thing of like something's happened and they record it,
Mm-hmm.
and then later they like basically are sticking a camera in their face and having to talk about it. So it's like after
Yeah.
that, like you didn't need to record me like having a conversation in
I
church.
thought about it.
But well, I mean, like if you just like got clips or whatever, that's
Discreetly.
one thing. But
Mm-hmm.
then if we got to the car
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, "Hey, so what were you just talking about at church?"
Mm-hmm.
And you just put it,
Yeah.
but we both had to be receptive to it,
Yeah.
and so it's hard because sometimes you don't want to deal with that,
Yeah.
and that's a problem that we faced in the past that we'll have to just get over.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way that we'll get better at it is by doing it.
Yeah.
That's why that whole press publish and all those things became big on being a content creator and stuff like that, is because you're never going to be fully happy with what you're creating,
Mm-hmm.
but you just have to get it out there.
Yep.
I'm feeling much more confident about these podcast episodes now than I did in the past. We're
Yeah.
20 in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 19th of this episode, but
Mm-hmm.
starting next week, we will be putting out episode 20 of all three
Whoop, whoop.
podcasts, which is awesome. And but it's 20 episodes in, which is really for me 60 episodes into the podcast. It's like, okay, this is going well. I've
Yeah.
gotten better at this, but it's because I've spent 60 hours
Mm-hmm.
talking into a microphone, and that has a big impact on your ability to carry on a conversation and
Mm-hmm.
ability to be able to do these things. And so I didn't feel very confident through the first batch of podcast episodes that I did.
Yeah.
But I've done it more. I feel better
Mm-hmm.
about it, and I think video is going to be the same way. Ultimately, preaching is going to be the same way.
Yep.
Doing the different things, everything. The
Mm-hmm.
more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to feel about doing it. The better you're going to get at it, and so you
Mm-hmm.
just have to start doing it.
Yeah. Just do
That's my word for the.
it.
If only somebody hadn't already trademarked
I
that.
know, right?
But that's just the thing. That's the idea, and it should be the idea for any time.
Yes.
But I think that's a good way for us to just look into the new year.
Mm-hmm.
You
Just
know,
do it. Go.
or what?
Share
Instead,
the gospel.
here, hold on. Just step out in faith.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. And just keep taking the next step.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to walk in faith, it doesn't say to stand in faith
Mm-hmm.
in the Bible.
There you go.
It says to walk in faith. And if we're going to walk in faith, that means we have to be taking steps forward.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of cases, that means doing things step
Yep.
by step, piece by piece. And even if you don't think you're going to be the best at it in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
don't wait until you're never going to get better at it
Yeah.
by waiting to get better at something.
Yes. You have
You have to just take those steps forward, put out the best you can,
Mhm.
and keep going.
Yep.
And so in 2024, that's
Just
how we
step
should
out
look
in
at it.
faith.
Step out in faith and keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop. Walk in the faith.
Yep. Amen. Hallelujah.
I think that's how we have to end it.
I think
don't
so.
think that
I
I
think-
think I can wrap this up in any better of a bow.
Yeah.
But
I think this is it. Well, guys, join us again on Monday for another wonderful podcast by our host here,
Christians, don't make this mistake in 2024. I'm really thinking that's going to be my title because I think that'll get people
Yeah.
interested.
So join us on Monday for that. And then we hope you have a wonderful weekend. We are excited to talk with you again throughout the rest of next week.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Don't act a fool on New Year's. We're
Yes.
Christians. We don't need to be like,
Behave yourself.
yeah. And really, you don't
Be a
have to
good
stay
example.
up. Just go to bed.
Yeah.
Go to bed and wake up early and pray.
Yeah. It'd be a great way to start your new year.
Start the new year in the best way that you can.
Rested and rejuvenated and on fire for God.
Wow, look at you.
I know.
Until we talk to you again, God bless.
God bless.